Hi Taurus, this is your reading for December 2018. Thank you for joining. If you could, I'd like to ask you to just set aside anything that you're doing right now so that you're not multitasking and all of your attention is here with me on the reading. Focus on your breath. Take a few deep inhalations and slow exhalations. As you do so, release any tension or anxiety that you might be feeling and bring yourself into a calm, quiet, centered place. Take a moment now to check in with your higher self and your guides. Ask them to reach out to me, to my higher self and to my guides so that we can create a feedback loop to get relevant and clear messages that are especially tailored for you. Okay, Taurus, let's get straight in. The center of the reading, the heart of the matter, you have the King of Pentacles, and the King of Pentacles is crossed by the Three of Pentacles here. Okay, and at the foundation you have the Fool in the upright position, and in the crowning card position you have the King of Wands in reverse. So my first impression as the cards were going down and I saw what was here and could feel the energy, what I'm seeing is, and what I feel here is that you are really focusing on your work this month, as you have been all year actually. I feel like, well, actually when I felt these cards going down, my feeling was like, oh, this is a summary of your year. It's not just for December. But in any case, I feel like the King of Pentacles at the heart of the reading is saying that you have been really steady, focused, and committed to your work, to your projects, to your business if you're self-employed. And I feel that this year you may have been challenged quite some by your work, in the sense that maybe you haven't quite felt like the team members have been in place in the right way, in the right dynamic, perhaps not quite together in the right combination. But I feel like this month and closing out this year, that has shifted. That is shifting, or it has already shifted for some of you. And I feel that you, at a deep level, at the foundation, in the subconscious, you have the Fool here. And what that's saying to me, this combination here in this central axis of the reading, it says to me that you have come through a difficult year of work, projects, and your life in general being very challenging, and you feeling like you have been giving all of your energy and being very perseverant and persistent and consistent and patient and deliberate in your decision making, in your focus, in your intention to keep going, to make sure that you pull this thing off, whatever it is, whether it's a project, whether it's your own business. I feel like you've been so consistent and so steady and so enduring in your work throughout all of this year, given all the challenges, given the inconsistencies of other people, given the lack of commitment of other people who you may have been working with, given the inconsistencies and the lack of patience or dedication of other people. You have been carrying the weight of the bulk of all of that, and in the end, you are victorious. You are coming through this year, given all the challenges that you've been facing, and you are coming through shining, victorious, successful, in a good place, in a fresh feeling of that was so hard. This year has been so hard for you guys, for people that have been so dedicated and committed and patient. I feel that this Fool card here at the foundation of the reading is saying that all the effort and consistency and dedication and hard work and patience that you have put in, given all the challenges that you've been facing throughout this year, has been worth it. Because now you've come through all of that, you are shining, and you are now in a place of a fresh beginning, coming back to a sense of, it feels like such a relief. It feels like you've pulled off this thing that has been so difficult, and you've been so, as I said, patient and consistent and dedicated and enduring. And with all the challenges that have been thrown at you this year, over and over again, there's been so many challenging things. Every time you come around a corner, you feel like, okay, now I'm here, I've made it, I've arrived, I've come through that challenge, and then there's another thing coming at you. But now it feels like you really have turned the corner into a new field, a new environment where things are feeling finally like you can catch your breath. And good for you. Good on you, Taurus. You've worked so hard to get to this point, and you've been so consistent in the face of other people flailing and dropping the ball and giving up or just not showing up at all. You've been there. You have been so dedicated and committed and consistent, regardless of, and sometimes in spite of, other people's lack of. You've been there, and you come away from this whole experience throughout this year. You are victorious. You come out shining. You come out on top. And I feel like your focus has been on just being consistent throughout this year. And now that it feels like you have reached a level where, as I said, you can take a sigh of relief, take a deep breath, catch your breath, have a moment to catch up. And now that things are feeling like you are getting on top of things, you can sort of now turn your attention towards looking further into the future with regards to your work, and looking at how and where and in what ways you can invest your financial successes in ways that will reward you much bigger in the long term. So you're looking at investments right now. That's what this card is saying. But I feel like it's more than just how to invest your money to have interest accruing in the future. This is more about how you are investing your physical energy, your time, other resources, your creativity, in order to feel like you are really putting your energy in the places that makes the most sense for you, for your spiritual self, for your personal archetypes, for your magic, for you to really feel like you are totally in alignment with the absolute truth of who you are. You are really looking now at how and where and why to invest your time and energy and resources into places that will not just grow your financial reward, but how it will grow your spiritual reward, if that makes sense. So you're looking at how you can invest your time and energy so that you are growing physically, financially, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, creatively. All the ways you can grow. You're looking at how you can best invest your time and resources to actually totally exponentiate and maximize your personal potential. And here, I kind of talked about this in that introduction, of that long kind of introduction where I spoke about what's going on here through the central axis. I did actually speak on these cards, but I will go in right now and explain what I just said specifically about these two cards. So this is what I'm seeing here with these two fives. You have the Five of Wands and the Five of Cups both in reverse. I'm seeing here that this is kind of describing the challenges that you faced throughout this year, when I spoke about how you've been consistent and you've been patient and other people have dropped the ball or been inconsistent or been flailing or been disappointing or haven't met up to their promise or to their expectation. I'm seeing this as you kind of overcoming all that difficulty, all that strife, all that disappointment, and you coming out victorious and you coming out shining through this year of challenges. You're closing the year out feeling very proud of yourself, and rightly so. You've worked hard, you've earned it. You've earned the success, you've earned this feeling of satisfaction of you having not given up, you having not been inconsistent, you having not dropped the ball. You have come through this year of endless challenges, and now you can sit back. Well, you're not going to sit back, because the work is actually, this is kind of a launching point for you for the next part. But you can take a moment now to have a deep breath, to have a sigh, have a deep exhalation, and just give yourself a moment to feel a sense of accomplishment for all of the things that you have dealt with this year that have been incredibly difficult and challenging, and you deserve to have a moment of celebration. So, I love that actually the heart of this reading is this King of Pentacles cards, because it really is like, you are gold. That's what I'm getting right now. You are gold. You've been working hard to attain your goals, or to fulfill a sort of personal agenda of certain type of work or a certain type of expression, in order to have a sort of sense of, Taurus. Come on, I'm a Taurus sun, so this reading is actually for me. I can tell you that everything I've just described is 100% what's been going on for me this year. But yeah, you are gold. We are gold. We are valuable. We are our own assets. We are our own reward. We are our own currency. Okay? Now, let's have a look at what else is here in these surrounding cards. In the position of hopes and fears, you have 3 of Wands and the Ace of Wands in reverse. How I'm seeing this is, the 3 of Wands, I would say, I'm seeing this as how we are looking into the long term, what kind of vision we have for the future, what we are wanting to invoke, or the clarity of a sort of projection into a longer term setting of goals and aspirations. And with the Ace of Wands here in reverse, I would say, I think there may be for some of you this kind of lingering but somehow peripheral concern about, like, can I do this? Am I really going to be able to pull this off? That might not be true for all of you, because for some of you, I feel like, having come through such a challenging year and in the way that you're closing it out now, there is this feeling of like confidence and self-worth and achievement that gives a sense of, it's like dissolving the worries, because you've seen what you're made of. You've done so much work this year in cultivating perseverance and patience and consistency and deliberateness, that any kind of concern or insecurity about, do I have what it takes, has completely dissolved. But for some of you, there might be this very, very slight lingering peripheral sense of like, can I really do this? But it's actually such a minor, it's so minor. I don't really feel it's like actually really a concern really. Now, in the outcome position and the crowning card, you have the King of Wands reversed, and the outcome you have Chariot reversed and the Eight of Cups, and the Page of Wands. So let's have a look at these cards. Now, the Chariot, Chariot reversed and the Eight of Cups. How I'm reading this is, again, like as I said earlier, that you can take a moment this month to have a nice deep exhalation, give yourself a pat on the back, celebrate for a moment, feel good about what you've accomplished and how you have radiantly come through the extreme challenges of 2018. But don't celebrate for too long, and don't sit back on your laurels and get too comfortable, because we're actually just at the beginning. And that's what I feel here with the Chariot reverse and the Eight of Cups. This is just the beginning. 2019, I feel, is going to be the beginning of the next chapter of our lives, where we are actually like really going so much deeper and higher, climbing. Yeah? You can see all the accomplishment that's been attained already with all these 8 cups sitting upright. But there's no reason to sit back and get comfortable with that, because there's always more, right? And I don't mean that in a greedy way or in a selfish way. It's just about like that, that kind of the spiritual quest. That's how I read the Chariot card. It's the journey of the spiritual warrior. It's like, there's always more. There's always more to discover. There's always more to learn. There's always more to uncover. There's always more to evolve. There's always more to transmute. There's always more to alchemize. And that's what these cards here are saying for me in the art composition. I'm not reading this at all in a negative way because the Chariot's reversed. I'm just saying, I'm seeing this as, again, we can take a moment to celebrate and enjoy the fruits of our labor. Enjoy the fruits of our labor from the incredible striving and digging deep that 2018 has been. And just relax for a second and celebrate for a moment, but know that we're just about to start climbing again. Okay? That doesn't mean that, I'm not suggesting that 2019 is going to be as hard or as challenging as 2018 has been. I don't feel that. I feel that for everyone, 2019 is going to bring just as many challenges, but because we've worked so hard in 2018, 17, and even 16, we're better adept at dealing with the challenges, and we're able to face these things, face the challenges of life with a greater sense of readiness and willingness and ability to just deal with things, knowing that it's just life now. Like, everything's more intense. We're going through so many shifts energetically from changes that we're going through galactically, energetically, that it's not about things going back to how they used to be and being easy again. No. This is about like upgrading, updating, reassessing our skills, redefining, reworking the old software and uploading new software, just being upgraded. Everything's being upgraded. Jedi training. There's never gonna be how it was. Never. So get used to it, adapt, update your skills, and accept that we're here now. This is how it is. Stop waiting for things to go back to how they were. It's never going to happen. Never going to happen. And just closing out with this reading here for the general spread, with the Page of Wands here also in the position of the outcome, along with the Chariot reverse and the Eight of Cups upright. How I'm seeing this Page of Rods here is kind of what I was describing, like coming into 2018 with this feeling of enthusiasm, with a fire, with a kind of fresh, youthful vigor, coming into the next series of lessons and challenges and processes that we're about to dive into with a feeling of upliftment, with a feeling of confidence, with a feeling of... The feeling I'm getting here is that it's not about feeling like you know what you're doing and you know how to do it. This is about... And it's not the opposite of that which is naivety. It's not about naivety, but it is about a certain type of youthful approach to things where you are actually able to be more open than if you approach things from a perspective of, I know what this is about. I hope that's clear. It's a type of youthful approach that's not naive, but that's also not to assuming from a perspective of someone that's a little bit older and mature. It's about approaching things with a youthful excitement and vigor and enthusiasm that enables you to remain open. It's about staying open. It's about receiving. It's about receptivity. It's about... I wish I could find a better word for the naivety. It's not naivety. It's just a type of youthful innocence. I guess that's also what the Fool is here at the bottom of the deck. It's a kind of enthusiasm that comes from youthfulness, where it is that you don't know. I'll keep talking and see if the right word comes to me, and I'll just throw it in there when it comes around, if it does come up. But I feel that that's it for the general reading, Taurus. I hope you found that helpful and clarifying. Oh wait, I'm going to take the, first of all, let's do the bottom of the deck here. Six of Swords, Knight of Swords, Six of Cups reversed, and Ten of Wands reversed. Okay. So this is, the energy I'm getting from these four extended cards here is that it's a little bit, it's kind of a summary of what I've already said, but it's kind of giving a little bit more of a serious note. You know, like the earlier spread, I was kind of feeling the excitement of celebrating victory, right? But this is a little bit more like, okay, you're moving out of troubled waters. You're moving away from times that have been difficult into a bit more of calmer, sort of quieter, more soothing space. But there's something here about, I kind of feel like it's a bit of a warning. There's something here about not getting too carried away in celebrating, because you might let your guard down in a way where you could miss really important information by being too carried away with celebrating this victory of how you're closing out the year. But it's not time to like let your hair down yet, right? You still have to remain really vigilant, because I feel like there's something coming this month where you need to be aware and have all of your senses alert to information that could come to you, that if you were not paying attention, if you were too distracted by a victorious celebration, which is a little bit too early, you could miss some really important information which could actually really affect the course of your future. Sorry. Okay, Taurus, that's a, I'm not being dramatic, that's just a very timely reminder to keep paying attention to information coming towards you so you don't miss something important. And then the Six of Cups reversed with the Ten of Wands reversed. The way I'm seeing this is that it's a specific message for some of you who may have been in, if you've been in a partnership this year and you've been considering moving on, if it feels like a kind of, if it's been something long and something very like soulmate or something deep, but perhaps something has changed in you and you feel like it may not be quite right for you now continuing, you may be deciding to let go and release and move on. I'll take a couple more cards here to see what's going on there. Four of Cups upright, Judgment, Knight of Cups reversed, and the Devil reversed. Yeah, I do feel that for some of you, this is a specific message for one maybe person or a few people, that if you've been in a long-term relationship and you're starting to feel like it's not really in alignment, it's not resonant with you anymore, and you want to move on and you want to let go, there is something here about deciding, making a decision to accept the way that you feel. Accept the way that you feel and be okay with that. Be okay with moving on from a relationship, that even if you've been in that relationship for a long time, if you feel like you want to change the course of your life and move on and do something different and be around different people, and I feel like the judgment card here is suggesting that you can like close out a cycle here if it's not fulfilling anymore, and there's no reason to feel self-judgment around that. If the promise that was once there is no longer actually being fulfilled, or if the opportunity doesn't appear to still keep maintaining that offer, then don't feel bad, move on, close out the cycle, because like there's this energy of like it's not really feeling satisfying anymore. So either it's two different things here. Either you close out a cycle and you move on and you release and let go and just kind of go on in a clear way into a different direction, in a new phase of life with different people. Or it may not be that the other person is the one who is feeling like they are not meeting you anymore. It could be that you are the one that actually needs to step up your game and give fresh energy to relationship to your partner, to yourself, and be the one that actually, it could be you that's this energy. You might be the one that's not living up to the promise or to the offer that you once were providing for your partner. Does that make sense? You might be the one that actually needs to do a little bit of work to dig in, to see where it is that you've been slacking a little bit, where you have been kind of taking for granted your partner, or taking for granted the stability that your partnership provides to you in your life. And maybe you need to actually contribute a little bit more to that dynamic to make sure that you are fulfilling your promise to the dynamic of a supportive, nurturing relationship. You know, if there is this energy of codependency and a feeling of lack based on your lack based on your own inability to actually see what's in front of you and show gratitude for it, right? The Four of Cups. Maybe you're just not showing your partner that you actually appreciate them, and you're not showing gratitude, or you're not feeling gratitude. Maybe that's the issue here. I don't really know if I need to say any more about that. It just could be like a little reminder for you to actually take a look and see if you have been in a long-term partnership and you're feeling like you want to move on or let go. Just have a look there and see if there is actually something in your own energy that you need to shift in order to give that feeling of refresh, of restore, of you know, recalibrating and having like kind of a fresh perspective on things based on a change of your own attitude rather than actually changing the whole physical dynamic. Okay, Taurus, I'm going to leave the general reading there. I'm going to move on now to the Voyager deck and do your higher octave reading. Again, using the holographic mandala spread. So while I shuffle, please, again, take a few deep breaths. Tune into your higher self and your guides. Send your energy over into the deck so that I can really get clear and precise and specific messages that are tailored totally for you. 8 of Cups, Child of Worlds crossing, the Sun, 4 of Crystals, 6 of Worlds reversed, 10 of Worlds reversed, Woman of Cups reversed, 9 of Crystals, Judgment, same card as you have here. In this deck it's called Time Space, and in this reading it's reversed. The Tower reversed. 6 of Crystals reversed. 10 of Cups. 2 of Worlds. And 7 of Worlds. So I didn't explain, but if you haven't watched my readings before, the higher octave reading is designed to give clarity on what's happening on a karmic, on a spiritual, on an emotional level. It is designed to provide insight and clarity on how to deal with the energies that we're working with, how to best move forward in grace, with dignity, to kind of make sure that we're making the most of the lessons that we're being dealt at this time to maximize our learning and growth potential. So what we have here, I feel that there is there is a lot of energy kind of driving you forward towards a very successful outcome in life. And there is like this feeling here of you kind of like, it's like drawing back the curtains. I feel like someone just kind of throwing the blinds open and flooding a space, flooding an area, flooding a room, flooding your being with light in a way that is very, It's very transformative. It's transmuting. It's this interesting sensation because on one hand I feel like you've been going. As I was saying, it feels like on one hand you've been going through something that's been taking a really long time to feel like it's actually being dealt with. And on the other hand, there's this feeling of, like I said, with someone throwing the blinds up and like everything's just different all of a sudden. You know, you've been working really hard on kind of making things happen, hoping that things will start to finally feel different, and then all of a sudden one day you just wake up and everything does feel different. And yet on the outside things might not actually be looking that different. It's more, I feel like there is something here about an internal shift that's happening whereby you've been able to really change your attitude, change your feelings, change your emotion, change the way you are. Like just your embodiment of your own energy is shifted because you have just been so dedicated to actually working through whatever it is that you've been dealing with. And you've been, like as I said in the earlier reading, so determined and patient and consistent and deliberate and unwavering in your consistency that you actually have it. Waking up to that feeling of things being different is actually the reward for all the work that you've put in. I feel like it's a combination of sun energy and the judgment card, this feeling of like waking up to and like waking up to a new day, the dawning of a new day, like this fresh feeling of like eyes are seeing for the first time what's actually really there perhaps. So let's get into these cards one by one so we can get some deeper understanding of this higher octave reading here. At the foundation, you have the Four of Crystals, and it relates to obviously the Four of Swords in the Rider-Waite deck. In this deck, it's called Logic. How I'm interpreting this is there is. How do I describe that? The energy I feel of this card, and this, obviously this card is the foundation card. This card. To me, normally I usually view this card as one of the most, if not the most important cards in the reading because the whole spread is resting on this card and kind of swiveling on it. So this is the fulcrum. So how I'm interpreting this energy is it's a kind of stability that you've been able to create by your endurance. But it's very careful. You have to be very careful here to not misinterpret this because it's a fine line between becoming very, you know, when you've been, you know how some people have been going through something so difficult for such a long time, it makes them hardened. There's like a crystallization that happens where, you know, like you kind of get, you know, crunky, the joints get kind of filled up with like stuff and you get kind of like fixed in a certain way because you've had to be so focused and so, you know, you've been like putting up with so much pressure and difficulty for such a long time. There's such a fine line between handling that in a way which is a heightened expression of that kind of having to persevere, where it is that you learn a certain type of patient, deliberate, consistent understanding and stability within, as opposed to becoming jaded and hardened and crystalline in ways that are cynical and bitter, right? Yeah, can you feel the energy of the difference of what I'm describing here? So the energy of this card being the foundation, the fulcrum of the reading, is saying to me that you have the potential to embody that type of energy which is very clear. There's a clarity in there of like understanding that like it's not some personal attack against you, it's life and you are being formed. Like this is formative experiences. These are things we're going through now that are defining our character. And you have the chance now to define yourself. You can either define yourself as someone bitter and jaded and, you know, crunky, grumpy, or you can define yourself as perseverant. loving, clear, despite the challenges, and because of the challenges, loving, uprising into wisdom and clarity because of those challenges, right? What else is here? You have the Nine of Crystals and the Two of Worlds. And here is the Woman of Cups reversed and the Seven of Worlds. And all these cards here are basically what I just described. It's that feeling of like your experiences are defining you right now. And you can either choose to be grumpy, jaded, miserable, bitter, or you can choose to have a crystalline clarity of wisdom and love and courage based on or because of your experiences, and you coming through those experiences radiating more light because that the challenge and the pressure of those experiences helped you throw the blinds open and wake up to the. So guys, I'm apologizing for the microphone, the sound, having some issues here. The battery just ran out there and I just realized I didn't have the microphone on in the last section, so I hope you can hear me okay in that part of the reading. So what I was saying is your experiences can either make you hardened and bitter and grumpy and jaded, or it can make you more loving, wise, and open up to the light within you, having been under pressure for so long, that you can choose your own adventure. You can choose right now how your experiences are defining your character and molding and forming you for the person you are becoming in this part of your life, the next part of your life. So, choose carefully. What else we have here is at the center of the reading, the Eight of Cups crossed by the Child of Worlds. And what I feel here is, again, that this is sort of touching more on what I've just said here about how your experiences are defining your character and how, perhaps through a lot of this year, as we described in the first reading, you've been under a lot of pressure, you've been under a lot of strain. There's been challenges after challenges after challenges, which have been making you feel like the pressure. Just it's this feeling of like determination to kind of persevere through all these difficulties, and your perseverance and your determination to kind of work with the things that have been feeling really challenging throughout the year have been your it's like this feeling of like yearning and searching and striving for more. It's a way of overcoming stagnancy, right? Like being that the challenges have been so great, you either just kind of stay in that swirly energy and be, a kind of victim of your own circumstance, or you rise up to meet those challenges and you see what you're made of. The crossing card, I feel here, that this is a good reminder that on an energetic level, even like this is your higher octave reading, right? So we're talking here about your spiritual, karmic, and emotional lessons. And what I feel here with the Child of Worlds is that this is a reminder to make sure that in all ways, in all things, that even if life is serious and challenging and difficult, we have to remember to have fun. We have to remember to be playful and be joyful and to find humor in everything and not let that bullshit fucking weigh you down and get you into places where you just feel so beat up by life because it's so tough and so hard. You got to remember to, like, that's our work to do too. Not only is it our work to kind of persevere through the challenges, but it's our work to find the humor, to be able to make jokes, to be able to laugh, to be able to share that space with other people that are also in their challenges, whether they're with us or in their own circumstance. You have to find the ways to make it funny because it is actually, it's all a big fucking joke. Nothing's to be taken too serious. Now, what else is here at the crowning card? So I spoke about the Judgment card and the Sun card. Here you have the Ten of Cups in the position of the hopes and fears. This quadrant is speaking about what it is that you are. How I'm reading this, how I'm interpreting this is that this is a kind of the kind of circumstances that you're in, the kind of pressure that you've been under, is partly kind of shining a light on what it is that you actually are doing in a way to kind of really make you realize and question, is this actually something that you are passionate about? Is this actually fulfilling you on a deep level, on a soul level? Is this really the lifestyle that you want? Is this the way you see yourself progressing in life on a personal way, in a professional way, in an emotional way, in a humanitarian way as a human. Like, is this really where you want to be putting your time and effort? So that's part of the agenda of the pressure that you've been under, is to make you realize that you need to be looking at these things, and you need to take a serious moment to actually assess what it is that you're doing and why are you doing it. Is it real for you, or is it just, are you fulfilling other people's dreams and wishes for you on their behalf? Or are you really in alignment with the true nature of your being? And do you feel like you are fulfilling your divine will? Is divine will actually being channeled through you in a way that makes you feel like you are in alignment with your karmic imprint? It's an important question to ask, because for a lot of people right now, I feel like what the work that we're doing, that we've been doing in 2018, and I don't necessarily mean your job, I mean your personal growth work, and the questions that you're asking now are having a far-reaching effect. I think that a lot of the work that people are doing emotionally, spiritually, karmically, are going to kind of define us, or are establishing a specific kind of grid that we are moving into for the next 5, 10, 20 years. So make sure that, again, it doesn't have to be too serious. You can change your mind at any time. You can change your life at any time. But for some people, there is this energy of establishing a very specific frequency of their soul imprint that they are grounding into and moving forward into this next chapter of Earth play. And then here are these final outcome cards. Very interesting. You have 10 of Worlds reversed with the Tower card reversed and the 6 of Crystals reversed. How I'm reading this is, it's kind of tied into what I was describing there about feeling like you're in alignment with your soul's truest calling. I feel like for some of you, if you are coming to the conclusion that you're in the wrong area and you need to make a shift, this could be what this is describing, where it is that you may have had some confusion, or you may have been feeling some doubt around how you're using your energy, how you're channeling your energy, and you may find that you invoke this Tower moment yourself by actually making sudden changes that might look surprising on the outside to other people, and it may actually affect your coin in a way at first, but it's like you don't feel like you can compromise anymore. You don't care. You don't care how it looks. You don't care how other people see you. Maybe you're deciding to leave a well-paying job behind or whatever, but you don't care because it's about your emotional satisfaction. It's about the clarity that you get when you know you're in alignment, and it's not about how it looks on the outside. It's not about the perceived success that other people project onto you. It's about how you feel about what you're doing and what you're putting your energy into and how meaningful that is for you. Let's have a look at the bottom of the deck. 4 of Wands reversed, 4 of Worlds, Ace of Cups, 6 of Cups. All right. I feel like that actually just describes, again, what I just said, where it is that you're maybe upsetting your established foundation that you've been existing in. Maybe you're leaving a job or leaving a partnership, or changing some things in a pretty drastic way, maybe suddenly. From the outside, maybe it seems sudden, but these could be questions that you've been asking yourself throughout a lot of this year, and maybe some of the stagnancy that you've been feeling, or maybe some of the confusion that some of you might have been experiencing throughout this year, that kind of disparity or this dissonance between what it is that you're actually doing and what you want to be doing. Maybe you've been asking these questions internally for some time through this year, but maybe other people are not aware that this is a process that you've been in. So from the outside, it might look very sudden and drastic to have, so many things being changed all at once. But you know that this is the right thing for you to do, and there's no reason to keep questioning that because you've been feeling it for some time already. So the 4 of Wands upright reverse is saying that, yeah, maybe you are going to turn things upside down and make a shift in the way that you are, the foundation that you've had established for some time, in order to start something new with a fresh, loving feeling of I'm in alignment. This is the best decision I've ever made in my whole life. Finally, I feel like I'm doing the right thing for me. And in doing so, you're overcoming a lot of sadness from feeling like you're not fulfilled because you've been kind of trying to keep other people happy by, you know, fulfilling some sort of sense of accomplishment as far as they perceive you, you know, like their projections onto you have been too important to you. And I think you're really ready to let that go now and just do what's right for you, and don't stop trying to fulfill other people's needs for you, but rather listen to your own inner guidance and your own intuition, your gut instincts, your knowing of the truth of your being and what it is that you are here to do, and how you can get in alignment with that so that you don't experience the confusion and the noise that comes from that internal dissonance of like, I don't feel like this is the right thing for me to be doing. I need to change direction. So coming more into alignment, closing out the year feeling like you've put in a lot of effort this year, and you are able to receive the rewards of that if you actually, as I said earlier, allow your experiences to define your character in ways that you feel good about. You know, don't let difficult experiences make you hardened and bitter and grumpy and crotchety, you know. Like let your difficulties allow you to open up to a breakthrough. Look at all this gold energy, this red and yellow energy, red and orange and yellow energy. It's this feeling of brightness, of waking up to like the clarity of just what you are actually made of. Pure energy. I'm going to add the Tower card into this as well, because I feel like even though the Tower card could be read as something really difficult and challenging, I think the Tower card is very positive, very uplifting card, where it is that like either you do it willingly yourself or the universe helps you to do it by actually coming more into alignment with the truth of who you are. And that's a very powerful and very beautiful thing. It's very elemental, it's very dynamic, it's very powerful and passionate. So I think I'm going to leave your reading there, Taurus. I hope you found that clarifying. Please leave comments and questions below if you're not sure about anything. I'll do my best to get to those. Don't forget, again, watch your sun, moon, ascendant if you know what those are. It will help to give a clear snapshot of all the energies working on you and with you through this time. And as I've been saying, like if any of the readings jump out at you, don't mind if it's not something that's in your natal chart. If you feel intuitively guided to watch one of the other readings, please do so, because they're all very powerful messages of timeless, valuable guidance for life. So you'll get gems no matter what, whether it's your sign or not. If you're cross-watching as well, like I hope you find valuable information that helps and supports you in rising up to be the best person that you are. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for being here. I appreciate your time. I value your time. It's a pleasure and an honor to read for you. And I hope to see you in the next reading.